Hey, you want to see something really scary?
What's your favorite scary movie?
I'm gonna scare the hell out of you.
What was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk here.
What's blood for, if not for shedding?
Welcome to Fright Night.
Welcome back to Jump Scare. I'm Betty.
And I'm Chad.
This week we're covering 1985's The Stuff.
The stuff is here now. Great new day sensation. Light and free now. Gives you elevation. Enough is never enough. Enough is never enough of the stuff.
The stuff, the taste that makes you hungry for more. The stuff, taste that delivers. Enough is never enough.
We interrupt this presentation with the following urgent message.
Tonight, America is in grave danger. We are under alien attack by a popular dessert known as the stuff.
Here, Jason, take some.
No, don't eat that. There is something alive in there.
Tasty. There's something alive in yogurt. It's called benign bacteria.
If the stuff is in your house, do not eat it. If you have it on your shelves, do not sell it. If you distribute this material, close your doors, make no more sales.
Enough is never enough.
So this film is directed by Larry Cohen.
Yay!
And what a crazy movie. It's actually one of my favorite movies.
It's pretty, it sticks with you.
Wow. I see what you did there. So, when was the last time you saw this movie, Shad?
I last saw it back in the 80s, to be honest with you. I saw it shortly after it came out, and I think I was visiting family in California. And I don't think we saw it in the theaters up there, but they either rented it or we saw it on cable somewhere up there. But it was shortly after it came out, so it might have been on that one of those weird channels they have in LA. I don't know, but I saw it shortly after it came out and was like, okay, this is a crazy ass movie.
So watching it again, obviously you probably have vague memories of the first time around.
Yeah, I remember Chocolate Chip Charlie. I remember some of the stuff exploding out of people and that, but I had forgotten a lot of little things about it. But it still held up. I still had a good time with it.
Yeah, it's one of those. As I was watching it, I thought, oh, this is very similar to Halloween 3.
Yeah, it has a similar structure to that.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, which that's never dawned on me before. But I mean, it doesn't take away from the movie for me.
No, a lot of slashers and movies have similar structures, but it was still a good show.
So if you're a person that is going to need some kind of explanation about where said thing came from...
It came from the ground.
Well, okay, yes. But how did it get there, though? How did it get to Alaska? Because that's where it's at, really. So how did it get to... Mind you, when you think... I mean, for me... When I think, oh, Alaska, I immediately think aliens. Like, that's the first... Anytime anyone's ever talking about Alaska, I always go, like, aliens.
Was it Alaska?
It was Alaska, yeah.
Are you sure? I thought they were in, like, Georgia or, like, Alabama somewhere. Because they did not drive to Alaska to find this thing that I remember.
I'm pretty sure it started off in Alaska, and then when they sold it, they distributed it into... that little town.
It wasn't. I don't think it was in Alaska to begin with.
Alaska is in the United States, isn't it?
Yes, it is, but it's in the continent, not in the continental United States.
Okay, well, we're just gonna say that it's Alaska. At the end of the day, it's in the ground in somewhere in the United States. Wink.
Okay.
So
think it was an A state. I think it was in Alabama or somewhere, but I don't think it was in Alaska.
Oh, was it? Oh, now it's an A state, but it's not Alaska. You're like definite. Because why wouldn't it be in Alaska? They can't do Antarctica. They got the other movie that came from.
It was not in Alaska.
Where was Invasion? Where was the Blob? Where's the Blob supposed to be taking place?
I don't know.
Somewhere where it was cold.
I think that might have been like somewhere in Colorado or California, one of the mountain areas where they were waiting for there to be snow. Because they were all dependent on there being snow or there hadn't.
That's true. It needed to be cold. So these workers, quarry workers, they discover this substance in the ground. Now, this is an old man, okay? And I'm going to tell you, I don't know if when I do get old, if I would be that crazy to, I don't know, be walking, towards my car, see some white, weird, bubbly fucking substance on the floor. And my first thing is like, let me stick my fingers in there and put it upon thy lips and taste this. No, bitch.
I don't think anybody would do that. Anyone in their right mind would do that.
Who does that? How hungry are you?
Yeah, I mean, the food stamps must have been running out wherever he was.
Exactly, Alaska. Food is very rare over there. You just bought it back. They take the roadkill and they give it to people that are in need, because that's true. That's a fact. Because it's hard to find stuff to eat over there, man. Nevertheless, so this dude is just getting in the ground, and then comes the other guy, what are you doing? And he's like, come over, I'm chasing this goo, and they taste this goo, and then the next thought is, we gotta bottle this. We gotta
get this stuff that just came out of the ground.
He literally just saw money signs floating in this fucking white goo, and was like, cha-ching, bitch, cha-ching.
And also, it was a parasite of some kind that's apparently controlling their mind.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder how much of it do you have to eat before you get mind fucked?
It seemed like it took a lot before they got that far, because people did take little bites of it here and there, and some got in their mouth in different scenes, and it didn't immediately take, it didn't seem like it got them immediately. You had to eat a little bit of it, I think. Had to build up in your system, because the kids' parents were eating a lot of it, and then, it seemed like it did take a little while.
Now, the original, I shouldn't say original, but the cover to this VHS, DVD, is just a screaming dude with the name, the stuff, and the colors of the stuff, which is blue, purple, white. And he's just has the stuff coming out of his eyes in this thing. It's kind of drawn or whatever. And
it's in front of the refrigerator, kind of coming out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's one like that, but there's just the normal one.
The one where it's the guy. Yeah.
Yeah, but my favorite one is the one that Anchor Bay came out with a couple of years ago. The cover of it is amazing.
Arrow.
Arrow. Oh, yes. Did I say Anchor Bay? I'm
yes.
Sorry. That was a throwback.
Yeah, they've been gone for a while. That's why I was
not
confused.
In my heart.
Because I think Anchor Bay did put one out in the early 2000s. And that's why I was that one? I don't remember that one.
Arrow.
Yeah, and that one cover for that one is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's really good. Anchor Bay's one is the one with the face.
There we go.
So I really like the cover of that one. There are a lot of cameos in this film. There's cameos left and right.
Most famously, 1985. Anybody that wasn't alive in 1985, you don't know how sick everyone was by 1985 of hearing, "Where's the beef?" That commercial, you can't even imagine how annoying it got. The last thing I remember seeing that was everywhere like that was the camel from Geico that was yelling "Hump Day."
Yes.
You would go to every
Hump Day.
Every flea market had 1 million T-shirts people were selling that said "Where's the beef?" with badly drawn caricatures of that old lady on it.
Clara Peller is her name. Okay,
she was on all these T-shirts. Just They had every color you could imagine, every variation of it saying, "Where's the beef?"
So we need someone out there to make the t-shirt. This goes out to all the t-shirt makers out there, all the horror t-shirt makers. Where's the stuff? But it's her face, because that was her cameo.
Yep. Along with Abe Vigoda from the Barney Miller Show. He played the character called Fish, who even had his own 2-season spinoff from the show.
Wow.
Because everything in the 70s got a spinoff, I think.
Yes, it did.
But yeah, and there's also one of the commercials with the Brooke Adams, who was in a shit ton of movies throughout the 70s and 80s, including like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, The Dead Zone,
The Unborn,
which she's like the headliner on that one. So yeah, she's pretty well known for that kind of stuff. You see some cameos from Mira Sorvino in this, because her dad, Paul Sorvino, is also in it. Mira Sorvino is supposed to be one of the factory workers at the Stuff Factory, but I really wasn't sure if I picked her out or not, because it was 1985 and she looks a lot different than she did when I finally started seeing her in movies like in the late 90s.
Yeah.
Who's the other one? Is it Dylan McDermott or Dermot Mulroney?
Patrick Dempsey.
Patrick Dempsey. Never mind, neither one. He has a small cameo as someone buying the stuff.
Yeah.
And the other one is a guy that's kind of a well-known to some, but not others. He plays one of the grocery store clerks. His name is Eric Bogosian. He's known for being in like that show Talk Radio. He's going to be in the upcoming Interview with the Vampire series. He was in Law and Order, which is, again, funny because a lot of these people in this show ended up being on Law and Order. The main character, Mo Rutherford. And why did they call him Mo?
Because he wants more money.
Mo money.
That's what I said, money.
You said more money.
No, I said mo money.
You said more.
No, turn it back. Turn back the podcast, guys. Did I say more or mo? My tongue got in the way.
Yeah, he was in a ton of episodes of Law and Order along with Paul Sorvino, and Eric Bogosian was in quite a few of them as well. So, everybody went on to be in Law and Order in this.
Can you believe that he's 81 years old?
Yeah.
I can't. Garrett Morris is in this.
Yes, Garrett Morris. He's Chocolate Chip Charlie.
Famous Amos.
Yeah, which is obviously Famous Amos. And who's the other one I was going to... Oh, the guy who plays the postmaster is a guy named... I think his last name is Dixon. I think it's John Dixon. He actually wrote The Return to Salem's Lot that we covered a few episodes back.
James Dixon.
He actually wrote that, and he was in a ton of Larry Cohen movies. He was in Q. He was in God Told Me To. He played the same character in every one of the It's Alive movies. He played a detective in that. So he's a Larry Cohen guy from way back, like Michael Morty is.
This isn't anything famous, but the two boys in the movie that play brothers in the movie, the main Stuff family, they're actually brothers in real life.
Yeah, it's Brian and something else. Brian Scott Bloom.
And then the lady lead, is Andrea Marcovecchi, and she's the wife in The Hand.
Oh, yes.
And I love that movie.
Yeah, that movie's crazy.
Did we cover that movie?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did. It's a great movie. When you see Michael Morty, I'm like, oh, he's gonna be an asshole. He's just so good at playing the asshole.
Yeah, and
the Mr. Know-It-All.
Yeah, he always seems kind of smug, and
he's very smug.
Yeah, and I think from what I've read of different things and seen in documentaries, he was one of those ones that did a lot of improvising on set, and that's why, like in Q, he insisted on being, I play piano, so I need a scene where I play piano. So he had to have a scene where he played piano, and that for just randomly, in this movie about a giant Quetzalcoatl that's terrorizing New York. We had to have a piano scene, because, that's the kind of thing you do.
Oh, yeah? There's a lot of piano scenes? There's things with piano scenes in them?
It's been a long time since I saw Q. We should cover that one next. It's the crazy claymation Quetzalcoatl that's after everyone in town, the giant winged serpent.
Yeah, that is pretty...
Because you won't have time to say Quetzalcoatl. You can only say Q.
Wow.
And then you're dead.
Now, so Danny Aiello is in the film.
Yes. Again, like I said, tons of people in this movie.
Yeah. But he was married to Sandy Cohen. So is Sandy Cohen Larry Cohen's daughter, or is that his ex-wife?
Don't know. I didn't even know that.
Not that it has anything to do with the movie. So Larry Cohen was quoted to be inspired by consumerism and corporate greed when creating this film. And isn't that fucking something? During the 80s, let's say he wrote this 83, 84, to have that thought, because that's when all that shit really ramped up and went wild, and how it just is still fucking true today. Like, think about it. These people found this shit on the ground, and the first thought was like, this is not dangerous at all. This is delicious, and I'm just gonna fucking sell it. Mind you, whether it's the stuff that's telling them to do that, or it's just human nature to just fucking just be, you know, the consumerism of it, the greed of it all. Like, oh, the money we're going to get from this because this is fucking delicious. And then knowing where it comes from and selling it like to the masses, and how like they covered up. So they were so secretive. That's why they had to hire Michael Morty to go into this fucking. Basically,
you find out they kind of had taken over everyone in the FDA that was supposed to approve this.
Yeah, shocker.
They'd gotten them to just kind of, check the okay box by getting them possessed with the stuff or threatening them. We saw the one character, Danny Aiello, his dog had eaten the stuff and was like watching him and making sure he didn't do things, which I thought was crazy that the dog was after him.
So, but that, and the dog, we'll get to that scene, because I was just mind blown by that whole scene. But yeah, I can't even like wrap my head around. I can, but just the thought of it all, like, yeah, that's something that would happen, because it has happened in like real life, and like, like Teflon, like, hello, like that happened. Like, they were just dumping that shit. I don't get like how you think, oh, this is like the same company that does like fucking tape. Like, this is the forever chemical we use in the tape. That's fine. Let's just coat that in a pan and like just sell it and dump the fucking chemicals in the water. It's gonna be fine. And it's just like, no, there's millions of fucking people dying and getting sick off of this bullshit. So it's,
but they made the money. That's all that mattered.
Exactly. The greed of it all, like the corporate greed, is just mind blowing. But there's a lot of, especially now, elevated horror, quote unquote, oh, I'm supposed to think there's more to it than that. Fine, whatever. But like, there were movies back then that came out that were horror, even though technically he didn't want this to be a horror film. He wanted this to be like a satirical comedy. And I mean, I think it's both, but I enjoy obviously the horror aspects of it. I love the practical effects. When, Chocolate Chip Charlie gets it, it's fucking classic.
Yeah, this would be one now that if they came out with it, a lot of the charm would be lost on it, because everything would just be CGI.
Yeah, and it would just be another movie just with CGI in it. It's like, okay, that's nothing.
Even though there are some of the scenes now that I didn't even quite understand. Like, there's one scene where the younger kid, the brother, is in like a tanker truck, and we very clearly see him in the tanker truck just sitting there. And then later we see him, he's clearly been green screened into it. He's not into the tank, and you see the stuff coming at him, and I'm like, they had the set. He was actually there. Why couldn't they have just... Because they said the stuff was just them like pouring like marshmallow fluff or whatever it was.
It was a mix of stuff. And who knows, because I'm going to tell you why. When he's a child, so they can't put him in any kind of fucking danger. And maybe because it was something like weird, because any scene where the people were being chased was actually like those crushed up fucking fish bones. So the foam of it, that shit is nasty. So they're probably like, we can't fucking do this to this kid because it's like fucking child abuse. So that's why they probably had to do a green screen.
Okay, that's never stopped them on a movie before.
Well, Larry Cohen was like, look, this is a low budget film, so I don't have, this is not, I wasn't gonna say, this is not Spielberg money. Like, we're not here to fucking just take a lawsuit and just settle out of court. I don't got no money. Like,
they don't got John Landis money.
John Landis, there you go. Either one. We can't. Wow. Okay. I see what you did there. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's why they had the kid in that weird, like, green screen. Which, yeah, it's a pretty terrible scene. But I'm like, it's fine. I'm just going to overlook that.
Yeah, it's kind of went past.
It's a sign of the times.
It's kind of a strange, like, weird, because some of the other scenes look pretty good. The scene where they're in the hotel room and the stuff attacks them coming out of the pillowcase is a great scene, because they're using the same room from Nightmare on Elm Street that turns upside down.
Yeah.
To make it look like the stuff is just flying everywhere and hitting the ceiling. It was great. It was a great effect. And some of the other stuff was with these stuff was great too. But there was a couple of scenes where it was like very obvious green screen that I was like, oh, okay. I can tell you probably at the end the radio station was green screen because they didn't want to damage all the radio equipment. Because it looked like they were in an actual little radio station and they probably did not want to damage any of that. So they're like, we'll just put that in with green screen later because we don't want to have to pay for the radio station's equipment.
So we totally just went into the movie. We have not given any description of the movie. We're like 30 minutes into the podcast. There's no description of the movie. But the movie is fucking mad old. So just look it up.
Well, it's pretty easy to... We already talked about that. They found the stuff in the ground. They start selling it. It doesn't take long for people to start figuring out that something's wrong with it. You have the one kid. He actually sees the stuff moving around in the refrigerator at night. He tries to tell his parents. Of course, they don't believe him. And then, like, that's where... Because at the beginning, I don't think the dad was 100% turned over by this stuff yet.
No, he was just an asshole.
Yeah, he was just an asshole yelling at the kid for getting up and looking in the refrigerator.
But that's why they showed you that, because he's such a fucking asshole to him. The night that we first see him, and then the next day his assholery continues. The more and more that he eats the stuff, the more docile he became. And like, he completely changed as a person and was like that weird 1950s, like, happy-go-lucky, hey, son, let's go outside and play some ball, you know, kiddo, have some more stuff, it's delicious. Like, that weird... That's the transformation of the dad. Like, they show you the mom, it wasn't like, it was like, okay, that's just mom being mom. She didn't really have enough screen time to develop. And it's very subtle the way they did it. It's not like, because there's so many things happening in between, you know, the whole going back and forth of the family. But
so then after we see that a little bit, like, you know, we see the stuff's moving, we see there's something wrong with it. We see a whole group of all these business people that have gotten together on their fancy boat. And that's where they hire Michael Moriarty as Mo Rutherford. And they want him to, like, he just tells them, I'm a spy. I'm an industrial saboteur. I find these things out, I sabotage them, or I give you the formulas.
Well, that's why they hired him to do that, because they know what he's about.
Yep. So they hire him to go do it and pay him a ton of money to go figure out all this. And he promises them, I'll find you I'll find out what the stuff is.
Yeah, because they want to make money too. They're like,
we
want to copy it. Yeah, we want to make it our own, throw our fucking brand on it, and then boom, you know.
And I love the first thing he does is go find the woman who was in charge of the marketing for the stuff. And then be like, hi, I'm a rich millionaire, and I would like to buy your company and find out all about the stuff and how you did that. And apparently there's a cutscene where they go back to a hotel room and have sex. They cut that out of it, I guess, to make you not quite believe he was such an asshole right to begin with, but they definitely implied that they went back to the hotel. Then he's just like, oh, okay, thanks. He just gets what he needs from her and then doesn't come back to her for a long time.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now that whole scene in the boat, we get character development real fast on him. It's like, boom, here it is. Bang, 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 bam. I'm just a slimy fucking asshole.
Yep.
That is going to use my slimy baldness charisma to fucking get what I want. And he's a fucking lizard man. Like, literally, I can't even look at him. Every time I see him, like, if I would have never seen this movie, if it was the first time, I would have been like, that guy's fucking an asshole. Like, he didn't even have to say anything. Just look on his face. Can we just give him an Academy Award just for his assholery? Because he's just so good at it. But yeah, so sorry, I have this thing with that actor. He's just fantastic. He's really...
he does a great job.
He's a character actor, and he fits the fucking character beautifully.
Yeah, he's one of those ones that when you see him, you immediately know there's something wrong. Like, oh, he's going to be... That's why I think he took that part on Law & Order, I think, was to be, playing the good guy on that for a little while. And then, I don't know if people didn't buy him on it. I know supposedly he didn't get along with the producers, and there was some, like, kerfluffle with him getting into some kind of argument with Janet Reno at some point, and
Janet Reno?
Yeah, like the Attorney General. He got into, like, an argument with her.
Oh, okay.
About, like, violence on television and everything.
Okay.
And then he felt like he was being slighted from the show, and then he was being cut down or being, messed with on the show for that, so he left.
Let's talk about this dog. Let's have a discussion about Ben. That's the dog's name. His name is Ben.
Yeah, I love when they give the dogs people names like that.
And how Ben is also being fed the stuff by Danny Aiello. I thought it was Paul Sorvino that was feeding him the stuff, but it is
Paul
Danny
Sorvino
Aiello's dog.
He's the crazy military guy at the end.
Yeah, because Mo Rutherford, he's going from like person to person that has influence, that has been around this stuff, that can get some kind of information until he works his way into the person that he needs to get to, so that he could get into the facility. Because at the end of the day, obviously they're trying to steal like the ingredients, right? So he visits Paul Aiello, who's fucking huge. That's a fucking big ass guy. And he has this Danny, I'm sorry, I said Paul. I'm sorry, Paul Sorvino. I have Paul Sorvino stuck in my head. Danny Aiello, and he has this dog Ben, and this is what I don't get. He visits him. They have the whole conversation. The dog is like skittish. He looks like he's like on coke and he's freaking the fuck out. Like this is like a coked up dog, and Danny Aiello, he's like also freaked the fuck out, and he keeps looking at the dog, and Mo is like, is everything okay? Like, is the dog all right? Are you all right? He's like, yeah. He's literally just trying to get him out of the fucking door, because there's gonna be a standoff between the two. I never got that scene, and this is where I don't get it. He literally is telling the dog, once the dog loses it, because the dog goes, he goes to call for help or whatever he's doing, and the dog goes to the phone jack in the wall. He rips that motherfucking phone thing out.
Oh yeah.
And he can't make a phone call, and then he like jettisons, like jumps on top of this guy, and he's saying like, I have more stuff for you, like I'm gonna get you more, whatever. We just saw 5 seconds ago when Mo crossed the fucking parlor, the room was slightly ajar and there was a whole room filled with the fucking stuff. It's all over the dining room table, and it's not like a fucking small dining room table. This is like a fancy ass mahogany fucking parlor with the matching mahogany chairs and fucking table, and the stuff is just everywhere. Why is the dog mad that he can't have the stuff? There's a whole room right there. That part I didn't get. Did he not able to open the containers fast enough? Were there just containers and he didn't actually have any stuff in it? Who knows? And then also, if your whole goal is to steal these ingredients, why couldn't you just get a tub of the stuff?
Well, they did. They showed him take it and like have it analyzed. And they came back and was like, we don't know what's in it. We can't figure out the ingredients.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Yes, you're correct. I jumped
because they had all tried to analyze it and figure out what it was, but they couldn't figure it out, and they couldn't steal it. That's why they hired him to figure out what the secret formula was.
Yeah, to figure out where they're getting it from, because because they
couldn't
couldn't get the formula.
Yeah, so they had to figure out what the ingredients were, and they couldn't catch on. So that's when he finds out, it's like, oh, this shit's just coming out of the ground. Now,
the other scene that I love the fight scene where he's punching holes in these guys' faces, and the whole faces sink in. Because
apparently the stuff, even though you get taken over by whatever it is, the parasites, aliens, whatever, it makes you very brittle to the point that when someone punches you, not even an especially strong punch, your face just caves in like they've punched like an egg.
Because the thought process is, I'm going to tell you what I think is happening there from a scientific level.
Okay.
Yeah. I got my PhD in the stuff like 2 days ago. This is what I think happens. You're ingesting so much of it. That's the only fucking thing you're eating. You're not eating vegetables anymore. You're not going to McDonald's. All you want to eat is the stuff, because remember, are you eating the stuff or is the stuff eating you? That's the fucking question, right? So they're eating so much of it that parasite or whatever it is, it's literally breaking down their fucking bones, like to the point where if they do, like you said, have some kind of impact, they're just gonna like collapse like a stack of cards, and that's all they have in their body is the stuff. So
they're just a meat sack. There's a skin sack full of the stuff.
It's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers to some extent. But yes.
Oh yeah, they do break open pretty easy on that one too.
So disgusting. And it looks great. I mean, I like that whole scene. I love that scene because it's so graphic and it's so out of this fucking world, unbelievable, that you can't help but like laugh because it's so crazy. The people's faces are just getting like sunken in.
Yeah, it is kind of like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, where they step on the one guy's head and like his head just turns to jelly.
Yeah.
There's also pretty notorious in a lot of zombie movies too, where the people like. There was an episode of The Walking Dead I saw where someone got turned to a zombie. Like 2 minutes later, they stepped on their head and it just caved in and collapsed. I'm like, they've only been a zombie for 2 minutes. How did they rot that fast? Yeah, it's that kind of collapsing.
Another character development moment for Mr. Mo Rutherford. He goes to the competitor, the people that are paying him. He goes to the stuff people.
Yeah.
And the stuff people are like, wink, we know what you're doing. We know you're working with these other people to find out what the ingredient is. We're going to pay you some
like
money.
$68,000 or whatever.
And I'm going to tell you right now, he took the money. First of all, as soon as the guy literally wrote the last little slash as whatever it was on the fucking check, he literally had it in his hand, and Mo Rutherford just took it very fucking calmly and put it in his fucking coat, inside his coat pocket.
Yeah.
He never said he was doing the job. He just took the money. The guy just assumed he was doing the job because he took the money.
Also, if this guy's office looks familiar to you, apparently Mr. Burns' office in The Simpsons was based on the office in this. Because it even has the giant polar bear, the huge fireplace, the big chair by the window, everything. I was like, oh God, that is Mr. Burns' office.
Yeah, you really caught on to that because I would have never... I've seen the movie so many times. I would have never seen that.
Yeah, well, as many times as I've seen The Simpsons, I catch a lot of references they do.
The stuff that was put in the pillowcases, so they get set up in the hotel room, just like in Halloween 3. Well, technically, she should have not put the mask thing. They turned the mask thing on and she got devoured with the worms in the face in Halloween 3.
In Halloween 3, yeah.
In the motel. So they're in the motel. They get set up.
She didn't put the mask on. She was picking at it with a...
Yeah, she was picking out with the tweezers thing, but she shouldn't have been fine with it. She shouldn't have been touching it. She got what she deserved. I don't feel sorry for her. Anyways, and how many children in her region, because she was like a store owner, she was trying to buy these masks to sell it in her store. How many did she save by inadvertently killing herself? Anyways. So, now I lost my damn train of thought. So, this stuff.
Coming out of the pillowcase.
Coming out of the pillowcase. Other classic scene. How did you not feel? How did they not feel that maybe the pillowcase was a little wet? Maybe smelled weird, slimy?
Well, they never said the pillowcase, the stuff with it, when you touched it, it felt wet. Maybe it could change its consistency. Because they were just laying on the pillows, not having any problem. Maybe they just thought, this is like a new foam pillow or something.
I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think they had those kind of pillows in 1985. Did they have foam pillows? I guess.
I'm sure they probably did. Or they just thought this is a cheap motel that we're staying at, and this is why the pillows feel weird.
Maybe. But it is kind of, if you're naming something the stuff, because you don't know what it is, maybe it does have the capability of doing that, It's like, they're like, you know what? We're trying to take over this fucking planet. We're not going to come as a fucking comfy pillow. That's not going to take anybody out. We're going to be some kind of delicious substance that people are going to want to ingest, and that's how we're going to get in their bodies.
But we do have a subset of us that can turn to pillows when necessary. We'll keep them around. They're like the commandos of the stuff.
There's a pillow division.
Yeah, they're like the fucking elite commandos of the stuff. They just like, now you go to the Motel 6. You go to the Howard Johnson. And wait for their order.
My other favorite scene, well, it's actually later on the same, when he gets, well, Rutherford gets attacked in the hotel.
Oh, yes.
Motel.
He gets the stuff on his face.
Wait, he's suffocating. And he says, in a breath, okay, it hardened on my face. It hardened on my face. It hardened on my face. He said it like 3 times. And that scene always gets me. And it's the white, it's covering his whole face. It's just...
And her solution is, I'll just pour something flammable all over it.
Let me get this liquor over here and pour it on your face.
And then I'll just light it on fire. Because
that's going to get it off.
That'll get it off your face. It won't hurt you at all. Which, lucky for her, it did not. It just burned the thing. And he just flips it off and is like, whoa, let's go.
Yeah. It was like, whoa, it's hot. You just had fucking fire on your face.
Out of here. You just literally had a burning mask of your face of some sort of alien, weird crypto thing on your face, and you're like, yeah, I'm fine, it's good.
If you were to put that in slow motion, like it coming off of his face and then going back on his face, like going back and forth, I'm sure that shit looks wild. It's just so disgusting.
You know what it reminded me of? Was the scene in it's either in the Police Squad TV show or one of the Naked Gun movies where they throw a pillow at Leslie Nielsen and it hits his face and he just like screams and is holding the pillow and fighting with it and yelling and throws it away like it was a wild animal that had attacked him. That's what it reminded me of, because it was like, wait, that thing, what the fuck is it even doing? Why didn't it just jump down his throat like it does with everyone else? No, it decided to just harden on his face. I guess they were just going to kill him.
Yeah, they were like, we don't want this guy. We don't want him, so we're just gonna murderify him. That's it. We're not trying to take him over.
But yeah, that was a crazy scene, and that's one of my favorites too. I had forgotten about that part until we watched it again. I was like, oh yeah, I remember this now.
I'm gonna tell you now. If the stuff were to come, or you may be some crazy substance is all over your face, my first instinct is not going to be like, let me burn this shit on his face.
That'd be like if they just pulled a gun out and just started shooting at it and was like, oh shit. Well, we shot it, but it didn't hurt him any, so we're fine.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, no, that's not how that's going to work out. So the world literally has to be saved by a slime ball, a woman marketing executive and a child.
Yeah.
it's the craziest bunch.
They got one more.
I'm sorry. And Chocolate Charlie.
Charlie helps a little bit. And then eventually they go to see his friend, or his guy he knows, which is Paul Sorvino, who's leading like a weird like militia out in the middle of the woods, who is like constantly like, you know, because this was the 80s, so it was like the commies are coming, the Soviets are coming. He's got this guy. He goes in and helps him a little bit, and I love when they go into the stuff factory and he just goes in and is like, oh look, all these people are dead, they killed themselves, cowards, I was gonna kill them. He's mad because he didn't get to kill people. Like, god damn, this just ruined my whole day.
Yeah, he's like, this is not what I signed up for. I thought we were going to war.
I thought we were going to murder people, and here we are just finding dead bodies. I'm not about it, guys.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to shoot this dead body. It's already dead. I'm going to waste a bullet for nothing.
There's no sense in doing this. It was just, it's a very of its time movie. But I also feel like if this was one that got remade, it would also be, you could do a pretty good job of it, showing it like them giving this stuff to Instagram influencers or TikTok influencers, showing them eating the stuff and how it spreads based on that. I think you could do, if you remade this one now, it would still be the same kind of punch, maybe even more so, because now people are easier to market to. Because before, back in 85, even if you were on cable and you were advertising the stuff, there were still only like 20 or 30 cable channels for the most part in most areas. So the reach wasn't as big to spread the marketing back then, you know. Now they can be everywhere in the world at the same time in a couple of minutes.
Yeah. So
I feel like they could do a pretty good version of this now, just like showing how it capitalizes on being, you know, like the internet and fads and all that kind of stuff.
The whole world would be dead. Mo Rutherford would not be able to fucking save the day because it would spread so fast and it would be everywhere.
That's true.
How would he be able to do it? It would be one of the, we're gonna get that Ray girl, Addison Ray, that TikTok girl that's like whatever, we're gonna get her to be the one. He's gonna have to join up with a TikToker in order to fucking stop the TikToker is literally gonna be the character from Halloween 3.
Yeah.
I put it back to Halloween 3. Atkins. It's gonna be Atkins.
That'd be hilarious if Tom Atkins was the Instagram influencer. Was Tom Atkins? He's just there wearing like a sweater and being like, he's like America's dad or something crazy.
I can't. That I just brought it back full circle.
He's giving the like dad advice. He's one of those channels where they have like the dad advice thing. He's one of those. He's the influencer they're getting to try and do it.
That's the only way that you're gonna be able to stop it, because it's gonna have to take someone with influence to do it. Wink.
Yep.
To fucking save the world. Because Mo Rutherford ain't gonna cut it. I'm gonna tell you right now. He was, no, for multiple reasons in today's day and age. I'm just going to leave it at there, and then you guys could think about whatever that is. But that one guy is not going to do it. He's going to have to join up. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. It could be done again. Should it be done? No, it shouldn't be done. Just let the movie just
but
be.
If you did, I think there is a good version of it you could do.
No, for sure. For sure.
That's like another one that's very, anti-commercialism and all that in the 80s was They Live. I think if you're going to do that one now, that would make a great TV series now, like a Netflix show. Do like a 10-episode arc of They Live.
God, I'm sure that's in the works probably. I just learned about that whole alien thing. Like, what? Yeah. What is happening right now? I don't know. What is going on with that? That's a thing? Like,
yeah.
Is it ever going to end? It never ends. It's just like, there's no new ideas. Let's just regurgitate and just show you the same thing-ish, but in this other way, kind of thing. But this is, like I said, I love this film, and it was great rewatching it with you, our first time watching it. And I've cosplayed this movie to some extent, and I would not eat the stuff. I'm not eating shit off the ground. At the end of the day, this is what you take away. Don't eat stuff off the ground.
Yeah, not a good plan.
It's not a good plan.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and give this one 3 knives out of 4. It's good. I like it a lot. Like I said, the only problem with it to me is a couple of the effects are kind of wonky, but otherwise it's fine.
I'm going to give it 3 knives and then like a little knife tip. Can I do
for the like a little spoon for the stuff?
Yes, exactly.
A little stuffed spoon sticking at the end of it.
Little stuffed spoon, yes. That's what I'm going to give it, because I have to give it just a little more than 3 knives. I guess in the grand scheme of things, mathematical wise, there's not a thing. 3 knives, fine. I'll keep it at 3 knives.
All
right. 3 spoons of the stuff. That's what I'm going to give it.
3 spoons.
3 spoons of the stuff. Delicious. Thank you so much.
Can't get enough.
That's right. Thank you so much for joining us in another episode of Jump Scare. Stay tuned to the horror.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.